I shortlisted into three universities. One was in Germany, one was in Slovakia, and one was in Lithuania. My focus was more on the course that I wanted than the university or the country, because I think
Yes,
that's where students make the biggest mistake. They are fancy
exactly.
about that country and they're fancy about the university, but they don't see where that faculty or that program is in ranking. Moreover, Europe is considered the hub, the main town for mechanical or automobile or electronics also these days. So Europe became my focus. So I did
Wonderful.
explore Netherlands, Germany, Slovakia, Austria as well. Per year for tuition fees was 3,500 euros at that time. And I would say at that time, Slovakia was one of the cheapest country to live in. And I had friends in Netherlands, I had friends in Germany. When I say this amount per month to them, that's their 1 week grocery. I will give you the number. Like let's say,
Please.
including my dormitory rent at that time when I came in the first 2 years, uh, including groceries, I would say it would be around 300 euros for one
Wonderful.
month. The eastern part of Slovakia is where all the OES, the supplier of big industries like Skoda, Volvo, all the big,
Yeah.
like even Bombardier in Vienna, all those suppliers are from Eastern Europe. Because again, why? The cost of living was cheap and the labor was cheap, raw materials are cheap. So
Yes.
when the connections like this is bigger, definitely in Europe, they try to promote this connection bond between university and industry a lot. The university which I studied was in really good contact with Honeywell at that time. Now it's
Okay.
Garrett. They were in contact with Spinia. They are actually bearing manufacturers for robots, like not just robots, like high-end KUKA robots, and then like other small companies which are supplying small components like batteries and links to Skoda as well. I work for a parent company called Veolia. It's a French company.
Yes.
In
Yes. I know.
France,
Yeah.
they are really big on water resources, energy resources. So, and now I work for energy resources here. Don't focus on part-time. I know your family is struggling, you are struggling with economy, but then again, choose a university or choose a country accordingly to it. Don't overspend. Don't have the illusion in your head that, oh, that's a fancy country that I am going. So
Hello, everybody. Welcome, all of you. My name is Shivaraman, Director of Europe Study Center. Today, we are going to interview our student, Nikhil, who studied in Slovakia and currently working in Ireland. Nikhil, welcome to the show.
hi, Siram. Thank you. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good too. Thanks for taking time out to do this interview. Nikhil, please introduce yourself to our audience.
Sure. As you might have known, my name is Nikhil. I'm currently a senior site HVAC lead for Novartis or Sterling Pharma Solutions here in Ireland. I started my bachelor's back in India, and then I did my master's in Slovakia, and then I moved. I've worked few years in Slovakia, and then I finally moved to Ireland.
Wonderful. So we have a lot many aspects to discuss segment wise. First, we'll start with what program you studied in your bachelor's.
So back in India, I did my my bachelor's. I did in mechanical engineering. So that
Okay.
was my core. I was always like into machines, so that's why I took mechanical engineering as everyone else.
Yeah, when you are so fascinated about missions or all these heavy duty equipments, ideal choice is mechanical. No second
Yes,
thoughts
that's right.
about it. So
Yeah.
then, at what moment you decided, I think bachelor's is not enough. I need to push myself and do the masters. At what moment, if you could remember? I know it's long back, but if you could remember.
Sure. My primary aim was to move out from my own comfort zone back in
Yeah.
India. I wanted to study and also, understand the culture of other countries. And because I know like India's big country, but we are just a small dot in the whole world. So I wanted to explore. So exploration would be the right word for your question. on this. So that made me to move out from India.
Wonderful. Yeah, exploration. I keep telling this for the past 16 years to kids. If your parents can afford this education, for example, the free or 3 lakhs per year onwards, whatever, please explore. Don't miss this opportunity. So then, when did you start the process? After your studies or during your studies for your masters?
I would say during my bachelor's, I was always preparing for exams and, IELTS, TOEFL, all those categories. I was preparing that. And I would say like it was simultaneous, but I became more pursuing it more after I finished my studies because, last year is always a chaos. You have project work, you have everything. So it's not so easy. So after
Yeah.
that, I started to decide that let's move out and apply outside because I was also doing a part-time job in Royal
Okay.
Enfield.
Super.
So that's that I had more on my hands at that moment. So I was like, okay, I'll give it some time. I'm a person who believes in time, so
Okay.
like it will automatically fall in place for me. So
Super. Well said, actually. And then, did you look into many countries or you were just only focusing on Europe?
I did look into many countries. Like I looked into USA, but that like again, back from my parents' side, I had a little push, like just go to USA, follow the typical American dream, go ahead. But to be honest, it's my option and my choice. So my voice was strong in that. So I said, like, I don't want to do that. Moreover, Europe is considered the hub, the main town for mechanical or automobile or electronics also these days. So Europe became my focus. So I did
Wonderful.
explore Netherlands, Germany, Slovakia, Austria as well. I always like challenges, so I want to do something that others have not done. That's in my that's that's in my head actually all the time. So
I
uh,
keep I also follow the same. Let's try something which others are not doing and
exactly.
see how it is. And then how did you find Europe Study Center?
So actually, it was one of my senior, Ram
Okay.
Charan. He did his masters in Han in Arnhem, in Netherlands. He came as a guest speaker in our university in
Okay.
bachelor's. So he
Okay.
explained about the process and how feasible Europe Study Center and how broader they are because many study center they are more narrow in particular university in particular country, but ESC was on the whole very broad. So that's
Yeah,
how I found out.
exactly. We promote all the 20 plus Schengen countries we promote, and we don't promote even today. It's just the same ideology. We don't send
Yeah.
students to this UK or Australia, New Zealand or Canada. So then comes to the university and course selection. So what were all the options given, and your specific reason to choose Slovakia?
Actually, I got into like I shortlisted into 3 universities. One was in Germany, one was in Slovakia, and one was in Lithuania. My focus was more on the course that I wanted than the university or the country, because I think
Yes,
that's where students make the biggest mistake. They are fancy
exactly.
about that country and they're fancy about the university, but they don't see where that faculty or that program is in ranking. So
Yeah,
in that ranking, I wanted to pursue something mechanical plus automation plus electronics, like all is embedded into one single program. Because
super.
nowadays nothing is raw mechanical, everything is mixed with sensors and electronics. So you need to have basic knowledge
It's
on
all
that.
mechatronics now. Yeah, no more mechanical.
Exactly.
True, true,
And
brother.
moreover,
Yeah,
we have AI everywhere. So it's all combined. It's just growing
combined.
every
Yes.
year. Yeah,
So that's then, as you rightly pointed out, the university and course is always greater than the country. But
indeed.
Nikhil, I will not blame the students and parents here when they do the reverse, because some agents, they say, right, you put your foot into Canada, your life is settled.
Yeah, yeah.
You would have heard this, right? Your friends
Indeed,
or
yeah.
friends of friends. I don't understand. What will the country do? It's all you need to develop your skills and move forward. Country will not
Exactly.
give you anything. And compromising the university or a course just for the sake of country, I cannot even think about it. And
Yeah,
Nikhil,
yeah,
just to add to the point you said, even today, Nikhil, lakhs and lakhs of students going abroad and studying in institutes, doing diploma and PG diploma course. This is my 16th year in the industry. To see people doing this even today in this digital era, it really pains. That's why we request people like you to come and share your experience. Even this interview helps one student to take right decisions. We are happy, right? Of
sure.
spending this 1 hour. Wonderful. So then, how was the visa process and all those things at ESC
Oh,
for Slovakia?
it was seamless, I would say. It was very, very easy. Nothing was complex. They had really good checklist marked in. So it was like A, B, C, D, E. You just follow that order. And like for me, was straightforward. And the clarity was really good. So,
Thank you.
like there is nothing for me to comment or anything. It was seamless, as I said. So, like everything was well organized for me, and from A to Z, everything was done. So it was very easy and good process.
Nikhil, can you guess why it was seamless? Any guess? Wild guess?
No, like maybe you had experience or.
Yeah, that is all there. But the prime two factors is, one is you, meaning genuine students interested to study. If a student comes to my office, says, my interest is part-time job or working in a pizza company, then why are you coming here? This is not the place. In my own building, where I am in Bangalore, there are other companies. Go there. They're waiting for you. The next is proper universities, top universities. The process is seamless. That's why even today we maintain more than 98% visa success ratio. So that's how it is. So then now you move to Slovakia. Now we'll start your journey in Slovakia. So how was the first semester, basically? You had to make some changes to your learning pattern, or how it was?
Well, for this, we need to slightly go back to my past when you asked about the learning pattern. Because like in Slovakia, the first semester was a bit difficult. And I would blame my childhood schooling for that, because like it's my opinion on this. Because I did my 10th till CBSE, and then 11th and 12th, as typical everyone will do. Like I was thrown into matriculation, and I was forced to mug up 365 pages, copy paste. So my brain was more into CBSE, I would say. And then at 11th and 12th, it was like this, and bachelors were similar to that also. But when I came to Slovakia, I was really happy. I'm not a topper or A class or first class or top 5. I was an average, but average in CBSE is really good. But
really
average in matriculation is not so good. So it was a bit difficult for me to wipe out that from my head and come to a concrete solution that, look, my life, that is done, and hereafter the education pattern is quite different, like including from selection of the programs or selection of the classes, the papers that you need was optional. Like you have mandatory courses, but other than that you have vocational courses also, but again you will fulfill the same credits. But it was a bit difficult in the. I would use the word challenge, not difficult in this, like in my whole life. So it was challenging, but it was good challenging. I adapted myself, and basically, like when you decided to move out, I always say this to my juniors also, like keep an open minded. Don't be just more narrow. Just like sometimes every time you take a step, you won't succeed. Sometimes you struggle, but you will get your way. That's how the universe works.
Yeah. When you said, when I tell my juniors, you would have also told this particular point. Don't sit and complain. Find solutions. You would have told this for sure.
Definitely. N number of times we have like faced many, even at work. It's like never going from university till work. We have the saying. Yeah, sure.
Because not everybody, but few of them, they constantly keep complaining because they have not done their work properly. They complain about Europe. They complain about whichever country they go. They complain about the university. They complain about the professors. It's endless. But the worst part is parents also believe all these things, assuming that these are right.
Yeah.
then only I decided I should document your journeys, students like Nikhil, successfully
Yeah.
working and ready to share their input. When parents look into all these interviews, they will be very clear, right? It's all in the
Course,
student's hand. You work hard, you succeed. You don't work hard, you're not going to succeed. It's
of
as
course,
simple
yeah,
as that.
of
So,
course.
specifically, if you have to say 2 or 3 points, the changes you made in your learning system to adapt to Slovakia to become successful, as you rightly said, you discarded the word difficult and it said it's challenging. Yes, I also say the same. Nothing is difficult. It's
Yeah,
challenging. You need to cross that particular phase, please.
yeah, sure. Like in education pattern is like always you need to do above and beyond. That doesn't means like you need to study all the time till 12 in the evening or in the night and then wake up 6 in the morning, have a cup of coffee. That's not what I mean. Above and beyond is like what the universities and professors can teach you is like only putting milk in a cup. Like you need to add the coffee, you need to add the sugar if you want a cup of coffee. So
Yes.
I went above and beyond, gathering knowledges from seniors, even from juniors, because their bachelor juniors are
Yeah, yeah,
different.
yeah.
Their mentality is different. And then I Googled, I YouTube. So like they will give you homework, but my question was mostly why. I started asking why in things which needs to make sense to more, not like why are you giving me homework? It's like why is that homework related to this study chapter?
Task.
So
Yes.
so that was the way how I looked into things, and that was
Wonderful.
like a small change I made because back in bachelor's and back in school, it's just like we study, let's say a theorem, it's like 2 3 pages and copy, and next day morning we go to exam and they like write this theorem and you write 3 4 pages, you come back, you get 16 marks. That doesn't works in Europe, or I would say anywhere out of India, I would say.
No, no,
Like,
no, never, 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 brother. See, this is the whole
yeah,
agenda, right? When I started this organization along with my managing director, the whole mission was let youngsters get high quality education. If they can
yes,
get high quality education in our own country, there is no need for Europe Study Center, right? You know,
yeah,
for example, when we have plenty of IITs and NITs in our own country, then there is no need for a company like Europe Study Center. But
yeah,
there is nothing, meaning to say, if you leave out these top public universities, then the next level
yeah,
is very extreme. So the only platform, at least we are happy. We were able to guide from my 4 offices, approximately 1,000 odd students every year, making them study in these top public universities. We are really happy. So you somehow managed all these challenges and came out successfully after the first year, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yes.
So like
So
after the first year was like I would say just the first semester was tricky because it's not only education, it's the language, it's the temperature, it's
everything.
the culture, it's supermarkets, everything will be different. It's not like in India, it's like all these changes are really big, it's overwhelming. But again, I use an an adjective in front of overwhelming again, like a good overwhelming for me. It wasn't the case with everyone, but I feel like that's my mindset. That's how I saw. And I was telling the same to my peers and my classmates, and luckily it worked for
Nikhil,
everyone.
that's how you started the interview, right? You wanted to explore, you wanted to get
Yes. Yeah.
uncomfortable in a sense, newer zones to be more
Exactly.
comfortable in the future.
Indeed. Yeah. Indeed.
Without getting uncomfortable, without exploring, where is the way forward?
Yeah.
Then
Sure.
we are also
Sure.
one among the crowd, right? You have to stand out, you know, get to that top 5%. We have to
Indeed.
do,
Indeed.
we have to do different things. We have to be exploring all at a calculated risk. Why I say calculated risk right now is because we're going to talk about the financials. I cannot, Nikhil, even in my 16th year, okay, I cannot pick up an offer letter and give it to a student and ask him to spend 70 lakhs, 80 lakhs for his masters. I cannot
Yeah.
do it, brother, because me running offices, me running these businesses, having so many staff members, managing all these students, I know the value of money. And when
Yeah.
will this child pay back the 80 lakhs education loan? And when will he pay back the interest? And when is he going to settle down? It's
Yeah.
a never ending process.
Yes. It's a
And
loop. You're stuck in a loop.
yeah, and Nikhil, I always say, students, spend less, learn more. Do you accept that or not?
Yes. Totally. I'm also a believer of that. and
Thank
it
you.
did also happen the same way to me,
It
because
has to be that way.
I didn't want to get loan and be in Europe or in abroad for 2 or 3 years and then spend 15-20 years trying to close that loan.
Prepay.
So I wanted to go with something that's affordable, that I can close in 5 years maximum, including that 2 years. And like, price was always like secondary for me. Number one
Yeah.
was always the quality that I wanted.
Exactly, bro. Exactly.
And
See, what is the point in compromising the quality for the cost? No point, right?
yes, yeah,
The quality is top notch. Then we look into the cost factor. Cost factor never
yes,
comes. I don't want to say the name. There are certain countries just outside the Schengen border where per semester fees is 30,000 rupees. Am I sending students there? No. So, as you said, cost alone is not everything. First is the
yeah,
quality, followed by the cost. Just
yeah.
approximately the tuition fees that you paid at Technical University of Kosasi and your approximate living expenses when you were a student.
So per year for tuition fees was 3,500 euros at that time. And I would say at that time, Slovakia was one of the cheapest country to live in. And I had friends in Netherlands, I had friends in Germany. When I say this amount per month to them, that's their 1 week grocery price that they pay. And I was also shocked at that time. I will give you the number. Like, let's say,
Please.
including my dormitory rent at that time when I came in the first 2 years, uh, including groceries, I would say it would be around 300 euros for one
Wonderful.
month, including. And I'm a person who eats a lot. I love to cook, so
Good,
like,
good.
look, if you're not that person, let just regard 50% less than that. So that will be your amount on that, because I love to cook. That was my hobby. So I bought more groceries, and that price was lovely. Like, it's balanced. It was not a pain for my parents. It was not pain for myself. Also, I did not compromise anything, because in my head, if I'm compromising anything, why did I come here? The main reason I came to study, and I need to have a better lifestyle. I'm not gonna compromise that for money.
Yes. Compromise, Nikhil, leads to stress, nothing else.
Yeah,
Compromise
exactly.
leads. And Nikhil, since you are talking about the cost, I would like to enlighten this particular point. That is, people back home in South India, I cannot name the universities, of course. It pains me seeing them paying 7 lakhs for a bachelor course per year. 7 lakhs.
Yeah,
I don't know what to say. At the very affordable cost, they can study in top public universities. Plus, even the living expenses. Even, for example, a student from
yeah.
Chennai travels to Bangalore and study. It is way more
It is
cheaper
more.
to study
Yeah.
in European countries. I mean to say the living expenses also. So it's a
Yes. Yeah.
classic example of high quality education at a very, very affordable cost. So they can grab it with both of their hands, basically. So then coming to the next question. Your master's, you did it in what program? Master program?
Automotive production. So it's mix of
Automotive.
mechanical and robotics and automation, digital processing, everything mixed together.
Super, super. So now tell us how good your professors were, how helpful they were, and how industry-wise, how connected they were.
I will just go from your questions there from backwards. So
Okay.
um, the village, I would say, I stayed in was called Prešov, and the city was Košice nearby. And the eastern part of Slovakia is where all the OES, the supplier of big industries like Skoda, Volvo, all the
Yeah.
big, like even Bombardier in Vienna, all those suppliers are from Eastern Europe. Because again, why? The cost of living was cheap and the labor was cheap, raw materials are cheap.
Yes.
So when the connections like this is bigger, definitely in Europe, they try to promote this connection bond between university and industry a lot.
Okay.
So the university which I studied was in really good contact with Honeywell at that time. Now it's
Okay.
Garrett. They were in contact with Spinia. They are actually bearing manufacturers for robots, like not just robots, like high-end KUKA robots, and then like other small companies which are supplying small components like batteries and links to Skoda as well. So in that perspective, like we had industrial visit like every semester, and that was also in English. So like the professors will help you to translate them because the local people, they don't speak English that much,
Yeah.
but the professors or a student advisor will be there and he will translate everything for your questions or their replies to whatever it is. And coming back, the professors were really good, not just in words. They were like really good human in nature. Not like, I'm just coming here, I have 1 hour class, I'm sitting here, I'm teaching here, and I'm leaving. That's all. No, it wasn't like that. Majority of the professors were really like they made sense into my life. I really like, if someone asks me who's my best professor, I would say Dusan Knezo. He's in Košice University. He
Okay.
changed my life's perspective because he's a really good mathematics. And from kid, I hated mathematics.
Okay.
All from first standard till 12th. I know engineering is basic mathematics, but I hated mathematics. But when I was in his first class, it was really different. He changed my perspective of looking into mathematics in a different way.
Super.
So like like him, there were many other professors also who spoke multiple languages. Even if you don't understand, I'm going to try to translate in this, even in English or even in German or even in Slovak. So the professors went really, really good. Like they also went above and beyond. They made sure that we understood, even during exam times. Like if we have a question, we can email them, and they were easy to reach, basically.
Super.
And they
Super.
never hesitated to say no, like in a good way. That I never heard no from them, like no, you shouldn't do this,
Amazing.
no, this is not correct.
Amazing.
No, they always said in a better perspective. So I think like they are really qualified, and I'm really lucky to have these professors into my life. And you wouldn't believe, Shivaram, I'm still in contact with two professors, and one is vice dean and one is this other professor, which I'm still in contact with them. I email them, I chat with them, like at least once a month. We update about each other's life, what is
Super.
new, what I
Super.
do.
Professor John Carl is a very good friend of mine.
Oh, that's good.
Yes. 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 He also took some classes for you, Professor
Yes, yeah,
John Carl.
he did.
Okay.
He did only like two, I think. But
Two
then
classes.
like we moved to another university in Prešov. Like our faculty was different in Prešov. So
Different.
in that university, it was Jan Mitalak. He was there, and then Lucia Knapchikova. She's the vice dean now.
Super. So this is the right moment to ask you this particular question, especially when you explained about Slovakia, the professors, etc. What you would like to tell people on their face when they say, "Is Slovakia really good? Can I go there and study? Is it worthwhile to send my children there? Because I've never heard about this country, etc., etc." So what you would like to tell them?
Again, I will come back to that. I would say it's challenging. Look, nothing would be easy in Europe because, first of all, language is quite different. And nowadays, I would say that there are many people speaking English, but
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
back in 2017, we were the first batch from India to go into this special faculty because it was new at that time, and
But
it
Nikhil,
was really challenging. Like
yeah, but
especially,
Nikhil, your course was in English, right? Medium of instruction
yes,
is
yeah,
English. Yeah,
it was
people
in
should not
English.
get confused. Yeah, when you say language was a challenge, some parents think, oh, they studied in the local language. That's why I interrupted.
No,
Yeah,
no,
please.
no. The medium they taught was in English. It was not like, when I say language, it's like not only in university is about language.
Social life.
Even in dormitory, if you go down to your reception and ask for a laundry room key, that should be in their local language, and that's not like difficult. Like, you have already opened one door, that you needed to move from India, and if you come out from India and you expect that you want to speak in Tamil or Kannada, or even in English, like it's a bit different for them. You need to understand. Like let's say back in our city, if someone speaks, keep coming to speaking on different language, will you be happy? It's everywhere. It's not like controversial. It's everywhere. So when I say language in that way, yes, it is challenging, but it's good challenging again. And other things in Slovakia, like I really recommend this, like the people, they are really kind. They are also
Yes.
open-minded.
Yes.
And especially in university, students, they speak English. If you take like more than in age group, like 35 years, they speak definitely English as
Yes.
a third language medium. At least they would know definitely. So it doesn't matter. Like you decided already to move to Europe, which the first thing is like, look, I need to know at least 10 words before you go to any country. Like the
Super.
first will be like, hi, hello, thank you, please. And these are the basic words. Like if you eat meat, like you need to know all the meat names.
Yeah.
If you know other vegetables, you need to. So that's like a homework that you do.
Homework that you do. Very nice. So, you completed your degree on time and then started searching for jobs. Is it? That's how it is.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
Okay.
So I will just stop you there because we skipped one really good, interesting part that changed my life. So after the first year,
Okay.
I had 4 months off. So 4 months, you can do what it's like summer break. You can do whatever you
Yes.
want. So again, I wanted to be in Europe. I don't want to go back home or like be with my parents because it's like, look, I already came here. I wanted to do something more. So I went for an internship program.
Mm-hmm.
This was in Paris, actually. So I
Paris.
was the only guy in the whole faculty, in the whole university, I would say, who got this opportunity to move to abroad meaning like different European country.
Country. Yeah.
So yeah, again, during my second semester, I was looking out for that 4 months internship program. Um, what can I do? What's like best for me? Because like I also need to make some money, not just on part time. So I was the only guy in the whole batch that didn't do a part time. And the reason was like doing the part time, the time taken doing part time, I wanted to sit down and study or sit down
Super.
or research or sit down.
Super.
So sit down and like, I'm not a library person, but I love to read. I love to read
Yes.
technical books. I
Super.
took that opportunity to learn the language. So when I left India, I learned only A1 German, and now I speak till B1.
Okay.
So it's because of that time I tried to utilize that time.
Learn.
I
Yeah.
was trying to research what are I explored again the first point explored a lot. So like my
Exploring. Yeah.
kind advice to students whoever is coming abroad is like don't focus on part time. I know your family is struggling, you are struggling with economy, but then again choose a university or choose a country accordingly to it. Don't overspend. Don't have the illusion in your head that oh that's a fancy country that I am going. So
Yeah.
that's my main thing why I said like so when they earned what they earned in that 2 semester in an internship program, I took an 8 month program. I earned what they would have earned for like 2 years. And that's like an internship program where
Super.
they teach you about what you study, not waitressing or not cleaning
Nothing.
dishes or not construction workers. Like I studied mechanical and I studied automotive production. So I was an internship in Bosch. So Bosch is like everything. So in Paris, I was
Right.
doing this. It's not easy to get into it, I'm telling you, but definitely look, I'm an average person like in education. So like I'm just trying to motivate the students
Yes.
who are watching this because
Yes.
like yeah, like you need to go little step above, like try to apply. Yeah, you will get rejection. You wouldn't believe, like I applied for 300 companies, only two came back to me, and like in that two accepted me, and then it was my choice, like either I go with free internship or paid internship.
Paid
Look,
internship.
another thing, go for paid internship because
Yeah.
they're getting something from you, you're getting something from them. It shouldn't be free, it should be
It should be
paid.
mutual. Correct. 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 Correct.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that was like for 4 months, but luckily I spoke about this to my university and they were really proud of this program and they were really happy and they said like, oh, you can even extend your internship longer if you need. So I did it for 8 months in the end.
Super.
And at that time, it didn't destroy my semester because they kept sending all the notes, whatever I need. So like whenever I had time, I was able to study. So
Okay.
the thing was like the university and the professors were flexible. So
Super.
when you stand out, people will look at you and they will definitely do what is best for you. So I was
Super.
able to see this humankind or mankind in Slovakia or in Europe, I would say in general.
Yes. Yes.
So
Super.
this is what happened in that first year, and then second year I finished my university, and then the last semester, the semester finishes in May. So during February or during December, I started searching for jobs. Again, I applied all around Europe, 300 plus 400. I still have an Excel sheet where I've applied for each jobs and what like some will won't reply you, some will you will have a negative reply. Like it is disappointing. It is a bit at that point, like, oh, I should be there. Why? What will I do? It is normal completely. And in the end, again, I got into three companies, I would say: Johnson Control, Brose, and Continental. These three companies, these three were all related to me.
Okay.
But at that point, like I've done my education. I've done. That's the final chapter in my life. And
Yeah.
hereafter, I needed to move. What can I do to make myself, my life more easier? So at that point, I started to look into cities that are really modern and really like open-minded in bringing people. So that's
Okay.
where I moved from Eastern Slovakia to Western Slovakia, which is the capital city, Bratislava. So
Bratislava. Yeah.
that's one of the reason, like because many of my friends and even HR were asking, why are you declining this job? Because your scores are high, you did internship. Why like did we aren't you satisfied with the salary? No, I said like, look, I want to go more
Cities. Big cities.
western to cities to meet more people. So that was the main reason I ended up in Johnson Control in
That was your
Slovakia for
first job.
2 years.
Yeah.
Yes, that
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
that was
Before
my
that,
first.
I would like to ask you. So you started to work after your first year,
Yes.
and then you continued to work, finished that 8 months, and also finished the degree on time. That's what you're trying to tell us.
Yes. Yeah. So I
Wow.
finished that 8 months, and then that 8 months, 3 months overlapped with my semester, but I
Yeah.
tried to stabilize that because my professors said like, you're fine. Like this opportunity, no one will get. So like we will send you materials, we will send you notes, so you can also do this. So I came back. I was still in Slovakia at that time. I came back, and then I finished my degree on time. And not only I finished, I was the topper, like 94.5%.
So
So
proud of you, man. So proud of you.
the last fellow who got the highest was 86%. So I was
Okay.
84. I'm not bragging, but look, I just did what I can.
Absolutely.
I did my masters, I did my internship, I did my studies. I was just on time. I understand the mentality of the people. I understand how things work. So it was very much easy. And in the end, uh, this is coming from an average guy. So this was like at my graduation. So like they were speaking in Slovak and speaking in English, but they told me, "Oh, Nikki, like you will be getting two certificate." I was like, "Why for me two certificates?" Like, no, like one is like red diploma. So like if you get red diploma, it's like you're the best of the best. And if you
Okay.
get the Dean's Award, like they call Dean's Hannah, if you get the Dean's Award, Dean's Prize, that means like you are the best student of the year. I was like, I don't understand anything how this works. I just like, I went there, I did my best. And when they called up my name in the stage and they gave me this, I was like, oh, okay, yeah, really, like I've
Proud
done,
moment.
yeah, I
Something
was really
good.
happy. I was really happy. I was speechless. Like all my friends, like I didn't know the value of that,
Okay.
honestly, because the reason is that I just did what I can do. I didn't, like struggle myself working
Nothing.
in part
Nothing. Yeah.
time. When I look into my friends, they were struggling, they were doing, but at one point when I just flashback is that, look, studied, and my main aim that I'm here was to study,
Daddy.
get get good scholarship, and do proper research. like, not just studying books, studying theorems will help you. Like, where is that theorem being utilized? How is that? Only that will motivate you. That's the main thing I wanted to talk here.
Super. It's all, you reach these heights is because, as you rightly said, I did not do anything special or nothing, but your discipline, your
Yeah.
focus, your endurance, and always that factor which you started exploring. Okay, let me do an intern. Let me do this. Let me try this. Let me try this. All combined together took you here, Great.
Yeah.
And as you said, when I'm the class first, I scored 94. I'm not, boosting myself and all those things. No, the concept of this interview, Nikhil, is to motivate younger minds. So your success, it will motivate them. That's why the main aim. So from Johnson Control, how did you move to Ireland? Enlighten us. It's really interesting to know.
Sure. So I did I stayed in Bratislava for 5 years in Johnson Control.
Super.
And then I moved to the top. So I was like the project lead within 5 years. They skipped me two positions. So from like a normal application engineer, they skipped me senior. They put me on the top. So like at that point, I was like, I'm in the same circle. So I found that in my head. So whenever I have that, and the reason why I got that, I was very comfortable. The job is good, my lifestyle is good, I'm saving good. But like when I take as a person who I am, I'm just like, running in the same circle. I'm in the same loop. I don't want that. I want an again. Like I had this thirst for challenge. I had thirst for, like I need to do something. I'm not gonna
push forward. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I know that this is not the top. I know like this is not the end. And I don't want my 30, 40 years of my career to be like this. So I just like, put my head up the window and I saw like, what can I do? So I was searching everywhere. Austria, I would say like I really wanted to go into Austria because of the quality of life and everything. People is very nice. But then I had a backup idea that I would like to go to Ireland. Because Ireland is like, English is spoken everywhere.
Yeah. Ireland, great place to live, work, but still, when it comes to the education, since it's all 1 year, etc., and few other parameters, I don't promote it for obvious reasons.
But you can have it as an option, not for education, but to live.
Perfect.
Because like that's the thing, once you're in Europe, you're a drop in a bucket. You can fill up the bucket how much ever you want with water or whatever you want. So that's the opportunity that I would say like I've gotten through ESC, and also like I've gotten through multiple Schengen countries, that they're all interconnected. So they're like it's like just India. It's not it's not different countries. It's like different states, but they are on whole. Europe is like one big India. That's all.
Nikhil, if you look at, as you rightly said, any country you want to work, absolutely no problem. Your life, your choices. As you had zeroed in Austria or Ireland. If you look at, the students that I have sent, easily I could list out, they are working in 100 plus countries, different countries for their own reasons. But you will be able to choose which country you want to move in only if you have the required skill set, required knowledge, and required competence. So that is why I request youngsters.
One more thing to add is also the experience. Like you can only get that by taking risk. Without that, you wouldn't know basically what you want. Like you can go with Maruti 800. At the same time, you can go with a really good sports car. It's only up to you. So until you have driven both, you will not know which one is what you want.
Exactly. See, we should explore. We should try new things at a calculated risk.
Yes.
And what happens if it doesn't go through? Same in example for a easier understanding. Okay, we go to Slovakia or we go to Europe. We spend for masters plus or minus 12, 13, 14 lakhs. Right now, I mean to say, okay, it's still safe. But spending more and nothing happens, or some issues, comes up in between, whether it could be diplomatic or pandemic, whatever it is, then we are stuck. That's how it is.
Yeah, totally.
Wonderful. So currently, for which company you're working and what is your designation there?
So I work for a parent company called Veolia. It's a French company.
Yes,
in France, they are really big on water resources, energy resources. So, and now I work for energy resources here, and my client is Novartis. It's a pharmaceutical company.
Yes.
So it's
Yes.
a 400-acre property with full of manufacturing medicines and pills for cancer, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's. So all the top uh, drugs are being produced for medicinal purposes in this site. So I'm the only one who's taking care of the heating, ventilation, and air conditioning. It's a HVAC system. So
HVAC. Yeah.
again, it's a mechanical based system, but everything is electronically handled. So from Johnson Control, I was in the same field. Like I know, like we
Similar.
started with mechanical engineering. Why did you choose HVAC? Um, HVAC is still mechanical. It's still
Yes.
automobile, I would say, because in automobile you have HVAC. You
HVAC.
have the AC system, you have the heater system. It's HVAC still. The only thing is like it's in small, for building it's really big. So
Big.
I'm into that, and everything is communicated through digital automation. So my main starting of program career was automation engineer, and then I moved slowly, and now I'm purely mechanical and electronic based engineer here. So basically, like when you produce a single medicinal purpose equipment or even like a pill, it needs to go under certain regulations in Europe because they are really strict about that. So I
Yes.
make sure that this is in good quality and all the maintenance are taking care in place, and also in energy wide the projects that's happening in the site. So I'm in charge of that to introduce solar or introduce renewable energy, understand the all the current consumption like water, energy, cold water, hot water consumption, and give them a proper report like where we can save, how much we can save. So like it's basically like site plant engineer, but only regarding for HVAC. But again, if you take HVAC, every room is air conditioned, every room is heater. So like it's without that, I don't think they can run any industry
Any
in Europe.
industry. Wonderful. Wonderful. From the moment of finishing your bachelor's and looking at what you're doing right now and handling
Yeah.
complex systems, and especially when it comes to pharmaceuticals, it's even more critical. The
Yes.
quality standards are high, the requirements are high, the protocols are high, the statutory requirements are so high. From
Yes.
a
Yeah.
layman perspective, I mean to say,
Yeah.
when you
Yeah.
talk
Yeah.
about pharmaceutical industry, so such a challenging environment needs a person like Nikhil. So I'm really happy, man. Like, what you're doing, and it's really amazing. So I'm sure your parents looking at all your progress, they should be very happy right now. They would be, I guess.
Indeed, yeah, they are really happy. The only thing is like I miss them in the most moments in my life, in
Okay.
this kind of moments. But that's all being paid off. They'll be coming to visit me
True.
this
Okay.
year, so they are
Oh,
planning to
nice.
visit me in June or July. Show them, maybe go around
Super.
different countries. Show them where I lived, and also like to show them why I want to live here, because from their perspective, it's like, okay, they missed the only son they had, but I want to show them why I chose here and give them like, like this is what I wanted, and thank you for giving me that. I'm staying here in a proper
Oh, so
way. Yeah.
nice. See, nothing more. See, you will work in HVAC. Tomorrow you will be in even bigger roles and all those things. But finally, when your parents are proud of what you're doing, nothing more is bigger when it comes to the
Yeah.
achievement or satisfaction. Forget about the money and all these things that will constantly keep coming and going. That is different. But when your
True.
parents are happy with what you're doing, that I always tell students, see, boss, don't do something which you cannot tell this to your parents, or which you are
Yeah,
not proud of telling to your parents. Don't do that. Very simple. So tell
exactly.
them something, do them something which you are so proud of it, and they will also feel happy that way. Wonderful, man.
Indeed,
Very
indeed.
happy. And this past almost 1 hour, so interesting. And I learned a lot many aspects. Before we sum up this beautiful interview, what you would like to tell the young minds, whether they're coming for bachelor's to Europe or masters, some do's and don'ts, what to do, what not to do, on how they should be mentally prepared before they start to face these challenges.
So number one would be like keep an open-minded look into things really open-minded. Don't have a narrow head, or like why is he doing that, why is she doing that. don't look into that. Just do what you want basically, and keep open-minded in that way. And also, like, just get out from your comfort zone. That's the number one killer of your own attitude, your own education, or even if you want to develop a skill, like, like, just get out from your comfort zone. And as Shivaram has mentioned here, calculated risk, because every time you do a proper pros and cons, like, evaluate them. Is it worth? Sometimes saying no is okay, but
Okay.
try to
Yeah.
say no. Don't accept everything. Like, we Indians, basically, the number one thing, like, I found myself, the way how we are brought up is like, it's really hard to say no. Like, yes, I will do it. Yes, I will do it. Yes, yeah, we can do that. Yeah, no problem. We can do. But just, before confirming that, just think if you can really take that project, if you can really do that. And even during my bachelor, in my master's study, I was given multiple options to do what you want to do in a project. Whereas what I looked into my friends was like, oh, I'm just going to take this, I'm going to take that. Professor is offering me this. No, like, just, do you think like you can really give an input on that? Just think in that perspective. So, like, if you have that, it's really good. And the most important is, try to get a hobby. I always say this to my juniors, and also many of my seniors, is like, look, you can study, you can work, but you need something to relax yourself, apart from going out or traveling, or
Yes.
traveling is good hobby, but from sitting in one place, try to find a hobby. It can be running, it can be rowing, it can be cycling. Like, I'm
Anything.
a photographer as a part-time, so I love to take pictures.
Super.
And I was just taking in a 2 megapixel camera back in India, and now I have a professional. So the reason is that, like, sometimes you will be stressed up at work or when you're studying. So at that time, what will be the best? So in masters, I was doing cycling a lot. I travel around 40-50 kilometer per year, per day,
Wow.
sorry. So,
Wow.
like, I will go to other cities nearby. I had a really basic bicycle. So I bought that. It was really relaxing. Like, you are sitting and studying. You can't do that 24/7. If you can do that, perfect. You have an amazing life. I'm really happy. But if you can't, like, I cannot do that. I cannot just study, keep on staring at my laptop screen. I
True.
lose the way how my brain works. So when you have that physical work or that creative work, it will definitely do. Even if it's reading, it's fine. But try to adopt something different that you do,
Different.
because here what I see in general, Europeans is like, their hobby is what they do for a living. So if a guy loves fixing cars as a hobby, that's what he does for a living, and he's really good at it. If he loves cooking, he's a chef. So basically, they look only in that perspective. His hobby is his career, and I'm really
That's why. Yeah,
fascinated with.
Nikhil. That's why they live for 80, 90 years without going to hospital. No stress. They're
Yes,
happy with their life and they are happy with what they do. Yeah, please continue. Please.
exactly. No, like, your point is valid, because when they talk about healthcare and everything, it's quite challenging here, and the reason is that, like, they are fit, first of all. Like, if I I used to speak with my director, he says me like, oh, it's 3 p.m. I'm leaving, because we finish at 3. We start at 7:30 in the morning and we finish at 3. And he's like, oh, what do you do, Nikki? Like, what's your evening looking like? Oh, no, like, I'm going back home, and maybe I'll go to gym, or maybe I'll spend some time with my wife. And he's like, no, no, I will ask him, what are you going to do? I'm going back home, and I'm going to do sailing. I was like, what?
Okay.
You're going sailing? I was like, yeah, I'm going to France for sailing. I was like, he won't be here for next 1 week, and he's just like telling, that's my hobby, that's my relaxation. So
Super.
they are doing what they want. So, like, you can study, you can work, but try to have a hobby. That will be my major. My father used to tell me a lot, like, get a hobby, do something. But I felt that as a push. But when you are abroad, you don't have that push, or that no one's going to force you anything. You literally have like 4 hours of free time. You can play video game, you can go out. It's up to you, your choice, but just be good at it. That's all.
Good at.
That's my sincere advice to everyone.
Super. This video is going to be like a template, whether they're going for bachelor's or master's or any country for that matter of fact. Because see, people like you who are successful in their particular endeavors, when you guys share your experience, it adds all the more value. So finally, thank you so much for the time, and as well as to start all this journey to trust Europe Study Center and the options given. Nikhil, we are always thankful to you to trust us, basically, because everything starts from there, right? If you had not trusted us, if you had not trusted us, or if you had not liked Slovakia, the options, one of the options we gave, all these things,
Exactly. In Tamil, they have a word saying "Puliyar Suli." It's the first thing. It's the first embarkment, I would say, in English. So it's like that, definitely. And ESC has done a lot for me. And if I would say like I'm in this position, it's because of that Puliyar Suli, I would say, that I started my career.
Thank you, man.
Thank you so much also. And what you're doing is really good, because back at that time when I wanted to research about Slovakia or about any education or even that connection, it wasn't possible. And now you have that platform to do that. So what you're doing is really great.
Thank you.
Before this interview, I did some look into your webpage, like, what you're doing with other students. Like, that's what they need, because they don't want to blindly go and struggle, because giving up is easy, but no, I'm going to face the challenge is the most difficult part. So that's what, like, you're telling them to face the challenge is what you're trying to do in this, and that's really good on this platform. Thank you so much,
Thank you.
Shivram,
Only
for this
positivity, only positivity. We say explore, pack your bags, don't take loans, don't do part-time job, don't wash vessels, sit and study, learn and enjoy your life. There's nothing wrong in this.
Exactly. What can go wrong? If something goes wrong, there is always a remedy. You can always fix it. That's the mentality that you need to have. Yeah.
100%. People, they have so much of contacts in LinkedIn, other places. They can reach out in a proper way, explain their problems and find solutions.
Sure.
Perfect. Wonderful. Thank you so much, Nikhil. And if at all I make a trip to Ireland, I'll surely take your time and visit you.
Definitely, yeah. Feel free. I'm here in Cork. It's a small, beautiful city. It's like 3 hours from Dublin. This is proper Ireland, I would say. It's a lovely place. It's like a countryside, but trust me, like, this is what I wanted. So
okay. One thing that I noticed from the beginning till now is, like, whatever you're doing, whether this interview or your work or your studies, you enjoyed everything. That is, of course, really. I don't think Nikhil will do something just for the namesake or just because you have to do it. I don't think you are such a person. If you like it, you put your heart, mind and soul into it. And
definitely. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Wonderful. Thank you. No, this is what I could infer, because 16 years I'm just watching students and youngsters like you, So what I felt at the last few seconds of this interview, I just wanted to share it with you. Thank you so much. Wish you all the best, and all the best for all your future endeavors.
Thank you so much, Shivram, and good luck and all the best to you as well.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.